Thank you for joining me for practice today. My name is Alicia. My pronouns are she and her. And I'm practicing with you today on the native lands of the Ktunaxa, the Spokane, and the Shuswap tribes, now known as Spokane, Washington. I'm going to offer the use of some props during our practice today. So you might like to have 2 blocks, 2 blankets, a bolster, a chair, and access to a wall as well to help with balance. We can begin by finding a comfortable seat. If you're sitting down on the floor, you might like to have a folded blanket underneath you, and also feel free to take your centering time in the chair. If sitting on the floor just doesn't work for you, the legs could be crossed or out in front. There are a lot of options, so find what's working best for your body today. If you're sitting up on some height like I am, you can scoot towards the front of it so that your knees rest a bit below the hips. And I want to make sure that you know that this is your practice, so anything that I offer are simply invitations, and I encourage you to tap into your own inner teacher, your own bodily wisdom, and let those be your primary guides for our time together. You might like to take the skin out and back from each hip. Feel your base. Let your spine lengthen up tall from there. Let's roll the shoulders forward, up towards the ears, and then let the shoulders soften back and down. Check in with your head and neck. You might like to tuck the chin towards the throat, just enough to get some length in the back of the neck. In a moment here, I'll invite the bell to drop us into our centering. From there, we will transition to some mat-based movements. We'll also be making our way to standing in this practice, and then we'll return to the floor for our Shavasana, or integration and relaxation time. So option 2, keep the eyes open or closed, or you might even just soften the gaze down, and I'll invite the bell to drop us in. As we start to settle into our practice, let's have a moment of gratitude. For the tradition of yoga, which originated thousands of years ago in ancient India and has been passed down from teacher to student. Appreciation for the indigenous stewards of the land where we're practicing. And thankful to ourselves for coming back to our practice today. I'd like to bring in the intention, may I honor the beauty of my strength. One of the ways we can honor our strength throughout our practice today is becoming aware of our bodies and our breaths, how we're feeling. And then from there, we can make the best choices for what our body feels like doing. Let's root down through our base, feeling the sensations of our legs and feet, sitting bones and bum in contact with the support beneath us. And becoming aware of the many sensations of the body. And seeing if we can greet them all equally. Without trying to grasp on to any of them or push any of them away. What happens if you let go of the categorization of pleasant or unpleasant, good or bad? And then let's shift the awareness to the ears and to hearing. You don't need to strain to hear anything in particular, but just settle back, be open to sound. Sounds may be close in or further away. You don't need to reach out to the sounds, let them come to you. Shifting to the nose and smell. And then to the mouth and taste. You might move your tongue around the inside of your mouth, tasting as well as feeling the teeth and gums. We're just exploring, getting curious about whatever we notice. There's no right or wrong here. Everything's welcome. And then let's make our way to the eyes, even if the eyes are closed. Do you notice colors or light and dark? Maybe little specks dancing behind the eyelids. And then let's connect with the breath. You might take one hand to the belly to help you feel the breath more easily. Softening through the belly, heart, throat, jaw, and tongue. Each inhale, bringing your awareness more inward. Each exhale, a releasing and a letting go. You may notice your belly expanding into the palm of your hand with each inhale. And then the belly relaxing, settling back towards the spine with each exhale. Let's take 3 full breaths together, inhaling through the nose, and then on the exhale, pursing the lips and blowing out slowly and completely, as if you had a straw between the lips. Let's give it a try. Inhale through the nose. Exhale slowly and completely through the straw. Softening the body around the exhale. After your third exhale, whenever it comes, let your breath find its natural rhythm again. Observing changes, if any, in your breath from before until now. Lengthening the exhale is something that can be down-regulating and soothing for the nervous system. As you feel ready, you can open the eyes if they were closed. And let's reconnect to our space. Visually taking in the overall colors and shapes, textures around us. And also being aware of where you are in your space. What area are you taking up? What's close in around you? Further away? You might cross the legs the opposite direction or take the legs long. You can just do something to change up your position. Let's find our base, lengthen the spine up from there, soften the shoulders. And with your next exhale, let's tuck the chin towards the throat first, and then rolling the chin any amount more towards the chest. Next inhale, rolling the right ear towards the right shoulder. Exhale, chin comes back towards the chest. Inhale, left ear towards the left shoulder. Find your own pace. And see if you can let your breath be your guide. Let your breath set your pace, and then match your movement to the pace of your breath. Let's finish up with one more to each side. Rolling back up through center. And then legs in any position that you would like. Let's start to move the torso side to side. So imagine you're like a metronome, just bobbing side to side. We can link up the movement with the breath here. You can keep it simple. Maybe just inhale as you go to one side, exhale as you come across to the other. When you're ready, let's go front and back. You might inhale as you come back, exhale as you come forward, keeping the spine long and neutral here, the shoulders soft. The hinge is coming from the hips. And then let's stir the pot. So now the torso is coming around, linking up the breath and the movement here. You might try inhaling as you come back and exhaling as you come forward. Knowing there's no right or wrong order to the breath, you can do what feels like it's working for you today. When you come through center, let's reverse, go the opposite direction. And once you feel even, we'll come back to center. Let's take the legs wide. And you can bring your blocks to the center. We'll be using them shortly. We'll do a few side bends first. So if your hands can come to the floor, you might not need your blocks. If you're struggling to bring your hands or at least your fingertips to the floor, you can always bring your blocks on either side and bring your hands to your blocks. So let's inhale here, center, sweep the arms up. Exhale, drop the left hand towards the floor, reaching up and over with the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, drop the right fingertips down, reaching up and over with the left arm. Find your pace. It's up to you how much bend you have in your arm to take you into your side bend, where your gaze can come, anywhere that your neck feels comfortable. That might be towards the floor or straight ahead or up towards your top arm or hand. Let's do one more to each side. And with the legs still wide, let's take and frame up the left leg with the blocks. Let's bring the blocks to the highest height to start. You can always dial your blocks down if you choose. Turn the torso so it's roughly facing the left leg. Feel your base. Inhale, lengthen your spine up, and then on your exhale, hinging forward from the hips any amount. So we're keeping the spine long, the shoulders soft. So rather than hunching down over the leg, see if you can keep the spine tall. Let's take 3 full breaths here. See if you can soften the kneecaps. After your third exhale, come on up. Let's give both legs and feet a little windshield wiper. And then we'll frame up the right leg. So now turning the torso to face towards the right. Inhale here. And then exhale, hinging now towards the right leg, any amount. Long spine, soft shoulders, and 3 full breaths on this side. Inhale, coming back up, and let's give the legs and feet a couple windshield wiper movements again. And then let's make our way to hands and knees. So bring your blocks along with you to the top of your mat. You may like 1 or 2 blankets under your knees for some padding. And if coming down and putting some weight on the wrists isn't ideal for you today, grab your bolster. You can also do the same things with the blocks. The bolster is a little softer. So if you would prefer a wrist-free option, you can take your bolster in front of you and come down to forearms. That's an option. You can also come to forearms on blocks, or you can bring your hands to the blocks. So let's start on the lowest or medium height on our blocks. I personally like the medium height for this. So let's stack the hips roughly over the knees, shoulders, elbows roughly over the wrists. And then with your next inhale, tip your pelvis forward towards the floor. Let your chest and belly open towards the floor, arching the back so the gaze might come up. And then on the exhale, now we're tipping the pelvis back, rounding the back, pressing out through the shoulder blades and tucking the chin. Inhale, arching the back, belly and chest opening towards the mat. Exhale, rounding the back, pressing out through the shoulder blades. Let your breath set your pace again here. Let's do one more round. And then walk your blocks a little bit more forward of where they are and sit your hips back. So now your arms will work towards straight out in front of you. Your spine is long. Then inhale, shift the hips up and forward so you're coming into a kneeling plank. Strong arms and strong through the back, keeping the back nice and neutral. Exhale, shift the hips back. Find your own pace here. Inhale, shifting forward to plank. Exhale, shifting back. Let's do one more. Now let's bring the blocks to the highest height. Shift both blocks off to the left so that you can come up onto the left knee and take a large step forward with the right foot. Option to keep your blocks inside the right leg, or you can take one block to each side and frame up that right leg. Shift the hips forward, so now you're starting to bend into the right knee. If you see that your right knee is jutting out past the right ankle and foot, take your stance a bit wider front to back. So we inhale here as we're bending into the right knee. Exhale, shift the hips back. Take your blocks with you, working the right leg towards straight, and then we're sending the butt back. Inhale, coming forward, bending into the right knee. Exhale, coming back, straightening the right leg. Work at your own pace. Let's do one more. And on your last one, let's end lunging forward. So we're bending into that right knee. Let's bring the blocks inside the right leg so they're to the left of the right leg if they're not there already. And then start opening the right leg, opening that right knee out to the side. So that might mean that you're rocking on to the outside of the right foot. See if you can soften the shoulders. Let's do one more. Then press back, bring the right knee back to meet the left, and come up tall onto the knees. Take the hands like you're putting them in your back pockets. Shoulders are pressing back and down, opening through the collarbones. Maybe the gaze comes up a bit. Let's take 3 full breaths here. In and out through the nostrils if that's available to you today. Let's bring our hands back to the blocks. This time shifting the blocks towards the right side of the mat, taking a step forward with the left foot. Option to keep the blocks on the inside of the left foot or one on each side, framing up the left leg. Shift the hips forward, bending into the left knee now. Check your alignment. Knee roughly over the ankle. If it's not, take your stance a bit wider front to back. We'll inhale here. Exhale, take the blocks with you. Shift the hips back, working the left leg towards straight. Inhale, bend into the left knee. Hips are shifting forward. Exhale, coming back. 3 more at your own pace. And after your last one, let's come back into a bent knee. Bring both blocks to the inside or to the right of the left foot if they're not there already. And then open and close the left hip, letting the left knee drop out to the side. Let's do one more. Then bring the left knee back to meet the right, up tall onto the knees, hands into the back pockets, broadening across the chest, shoulders pressing back and down. 3 full breaths. So we're about to make our way to standing here. I'll give you the option to come to standing through a down dog with blocks. If that doesn't appeal to you, use your chair and or your blocks for support. Bring your chair onto the mat and make your way up to standing in any way that works good for you. If you'd like to join me to come through a down dog up to standing, I'm going to have my blocks on the medium height. Just make sure your blocks feel sturdy if you're doing this, because you're going to put some weight into them. You could also take your block to the lowest height. And of course, you always have the option to take your hands flat to the mat. But for me, I like the added height that my blocks are bringing. So if you're coming through your down dog, bring your hands to the blocks, curl the toes under, plant the toes, and then press through the feet and the hands to lift your knees off the floor and press your hips back. Take your feet as wide as feels comfortable. You can even pedal out 1 foot at a time. But try to bend the knees and then lengthen through the arms and the back. Let's take a full breath here. And then option to walk your feet to your hands or take your blocks and walk your blocks back to your feet. Let's bring a generous bend into the knees. Press through the feet to come up. You can bring your blocks with you. And we'll make our way to standing. All right. So I want to walk us through finding our mountain pose, our Tadasana first. So once you've made your way up to standing, let's find the triangles of support under each foot. So let's have the feet be parallel and make enough room for your inner thighs. So we want to have the feet parallel and not super wide, but wide enough to make room for our body so we feel stable. You might rock forward and back on the feet, feeling for the triangle of support under each foot. Imagine points under the ball of the big toe, ball of the pinky toe, center of the heel. Arms might be just down at the sides, or you can rotate the arms so the palms are facing forward. Check in if there's any gripping through your lower back or your bum that you can let go of. Letting the spine lengthen up, the shoulders soften down. And then from here, let's bring the hands to the hips, and then let's sit the butt back. Any amount. You can keep the hands on the hips. Maybe you bring the arms forward. So make sure the weight is back. And then if you'd like, we can add a twist here. So we'll inhale here, center. Exhale, twisting one direction. Inhale, center. Exhale, twisting the other direction. Let's do 2 more to each side. After your last one, press through the feet to come up. You can circle the arms down and around. Let's give everything a shake out. You can sigh out a couple of exhales if that feels good. And then let's go ahead and bring our chair to the top of our mat. I'm going to run through this sequence once with the chair, and then the next one I will run through it with the blocks so that you have more than one option. Obviously, using the chair makes your poses a little less deep when you're hinging forward or reaching towards the floor. So this will give you a couple options. You can see what's working best for you today. So let's take our Tadasana, our mountain pose, in front of the seat of the chair. Let's inhale, sweep the arms up. Option for a little back bend here if you choose. Exhale, taking the hands to the hips, moving the belly to the center, hinging forward. Let the head and neck release down. Then inhale, come up to a flat back. Exhale, hinging forward again. So root down through the left foot. Take a large step back with the right foot, bending into the left knee. Find a focal point. This is your drishti, your focus. Find a focal point a few feet in front of you on the floor to rest your gaze on. This can help with balance. So firming up through both legs, go ahead and work your way up to standing. So now we're in a high lunge. Sink into that bent left knee. If your left knee is coming way out past the left ankle and foot, take your stance wider, front to back. Then now let's plant the right heel, turn the right toes out, bending back into that left knee. So our torso is facing forward, facing our chair. Option to bring the hands to the heart or maybe overhead. Soft shoulders. Then let's open the torso out towards the right. So now the torso is facing the long side of the mat. Arms are shoulder height, palms facing down. Bent into the left knee, gazing out over the left fingertips. This is our warrior two. Virabhadrasana 2. Take the left hand, drop it to the chair. You can pull the chair a little closer to you if you need. Right hand can come to the right hip, opening the chest, and then option to take the right arm out alongside the head. Long line from the fingertips all the way down through the right foot. Bring those right fingertips forward and through. Right hand comes back to the right hip. Then work that left leg towards straight. Hand is still on the chair. Option to take the right fingertips towards the sky. Bring the right hand to the right hip. Come up onto the ball of the right foot. Turn the right toes back to face the chair. Release both hands to the seat of the chair. Walk that right foot in about halfway, enough that you can get both feet flat to the floor. Let's inhale here, and then exhale, folding forward. Inhale, coming up to a flat back. Bring the right foot the rest of the way in. You might even walk the left foot back to meet the right. Press through the feet with bent knees. Come on up and exhale the palms together through heart center. Find your Tadasana. Take a few breaths. We're building heat. Now we'll move through the same thing on the other side. Inhale the arms up. Back bend at the top if you choose. Exhale, hinging forward. Hands to the seat of the chair. Inhale, come up to a flat back. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, press through the hands. Take a large step back with the left foot. Find that drishti, find your focal point for balance. Root down through both feet and legs. And then come on up. Bending into the right knee. You can turn the left toes out, drop the left heel down. Torso is facing the short end of your mat or your chair. Option to bring the hands to the heart or overhead. Then turning the torso towards the left, facing the long side of the mat. Arms come out, shoulder height, palms facing down. For our warrior two. Lean towards your right to bring the right hand to the seat of the chair, left hand to the left hip, opening the chest. Option to bring the left arm alongside the head. Reach those left fingertips forward and down and through. Left hand back to the left hip. Work that right leg towards straight. Still opening the chest. Option to take the left fingertips towards the sky. Nice full breaths. In and out through the nose. Let's return the left hand to the left hip. Turn the left toes forward, coming up onto the ball of the left foot. Both hands come back to the chair. Walk the left foot in about halfway. So both feet are on the floor. Inhale here. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, come to the flat back. Walk the left foot in the rest of the way. Walk the right foot back to meet it. Bend through the knees. Shift your weight back. Press through the feet to come on up. And exhale the palms together through heart center. So we're going to run through this one more time on both sides. And I'm going to demo this with the blocks this time. So option to stay with what we were doing with the chair. Or you also have the option to follow along with the blocks. If you start working with the blocks, maybe it's just not right for you today, go ahead and come back to the chair. So let's take the blocks on the highest height, bring them to the top of your mat. Inhale, reach the arms forward and up. Exhale, hinging forward. Hands to the belly, move the belly out of the way. Inhale, come up to a flat back. Exhale, hinging forward. Inhale, root down through the left foot. Take a large step back with the right foot. Find your base, strong legs, press through both feet. Use your hands to walk up the left leg, coming up. Maybe the hands come to the heart or overhead. Dropping the right heel down, turning the right toes out, bringing the arms out, shoulder height, palms facing down. If you're using the blocks, now you'll bend into the left arm, take the left forearm to the left thigh, opening through the chest, right hand to the hip, or maybe alongside the head. Bring those right fingertips forward and through. Grab your block, bring it next to your left foot. Work that left leg towards straight, still opening the chest. And then maybe the right fingertips come towards the sky. Bring the right hand back to the right hip. Turn the right toes forward. Grab both of your blocks. Walk the right foot in halfway. Flat back. Inhale here. Exhale, hinging forward over the left leg. Inhale, stepping the right leg in to meet the left. Maybe the left foot back to meet the right. Bend through the knees, press through the feet to come on up. And exhale, the palms through heart center. Take a moment to catch your breath. Notice how you're feeling. And we'll go ahead and do the other side. Inhale the arms up. Option for a little back bend. Exhale, hinging forward. Hands to the blocks. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, hinging forward. Now we're rooting down through the right foot. Large step back with the left. Bending into the right knee. Adjusting your stance as needed to keep that right knee roughly over the ankle. Find your focal point. Strong legs. Work your way up. Maybe the hands come to the heart or overhead. Drop your left heel down, turn the left toes out, and then turn your torso towards the long side of your mat, towards the left. Arms out, shoulder height, palms facing down, gaze comes out over the right fingertips. Bend the right arm, take the right forearm to the right thigh, maybe reaching up and over with the left arm. Bring the left fingertips forward and through. Grab your block, bring it on the outside of your right foot. Work that right leg towards straight. Option to take the left fingertips towards the sky. Bring the left hand back to the left hip. Turn the left toes forward. Grab your other block. Step that left foot halfway in. So both feet are flat. Inhale here. Exhale, hinging forward over the right leg. Inhale, coming up. Bring both feet together. Bend through the knees. Press through the feet to come back up. And exhale the palms together through heart center. Notice how you're feeling. Find your Tadasana. Let's start to wind down with a monkey drum twist. Let your outside foot come up onto the ball or the toes. So that the outer knee is coming along with you. Arms can be flopping at the side. And slowly let your twist come back to center. And we'll do one more thing before we come down to our Shavasana, or integration and relaxation time. We're going to work with tree pose and work with some balance. So option 2, use your chair for support. If you want some extra support while balancing, you can turn the back of the chair towards you, use that. You can also take your tree pose up to the wall. So let's root down through the right foot. Option to bring the right fingertips to the back of the chair. Turn the left toes and left knee out. And then you can bring that left heel in towards the right leg, like you're making a kickstand with your left leg. See how you're feeling here. How's your balance? Find your point on the floor to rest your gaze on. You can stay right here, or if you'd like, you can press that left foot into the side of the right calf. Option to stay here, or you can play with hands. You might take the hands to the heart, or option to extend your branches. If you fall out, no problem, just reset and try again. Let's take 3 full breaths here, wherever you're at. Release the hands, turn that left knee forward, and bring both feet to the floor. Let's give the legs a shake out. And we'll bring our chair to the other side if you're using it for support. This time we're rooting down through the left leg and turning the right toes and right knee out. I forgot to mention on the first side, if you feel that standing leg hip popping out, hug it back in towards the midline. Option 2, bring the left heel in towards the right leg, kickstand. Staying right here, working with balance, or option to bring the right foot to press onto the inside of the left calf. Your balance may be completely different from one side to the other. It's okay if you wobble. Option to bring the hands to the heart, or maybe even extending your branches. 3 full breaths wherever you're at. Let's bring the arms down, turn the right knee forward, bring both feet to the floor, give them a shake out. Then let's set up for our Shavasana. You have quite a few props handy. So you can set yourself up for your own comfort. You might take a folded blanket under the head, and feel free to use the wall or your chair or your blocks to help you get back to the floor. Today I'm going to use my blocks, and it depends on the stability of your blocks. You might even try the medium height if you're trying what I'm trying. Then you can take your bolster across the blocks and come to lay down on your back, and then you can bring the backs of your legs, the bottom part of your legs, onto the bolster. You might press into the feet, tuck the skin of the hips under. You can also bring the fingertips to the back of the head, pick the head up, lengthen the neck, and then bring the head back down. Maybe you have another Shavasana setup that you're used to using. Just find what's working for you right now. What's going to be comfortable and help you find the most amount of ease. Option to keep the eyes open or close them or soften the gaze down. Feel where you're in contact with the floor and the props. Allow your breath to find its natural rhythm. Allowing each inhale to take your awareness further inward. And each exhale to be the releasing, the letting go. May I honor the beauty of my strength. We just completed a pretty challenging practice. Notice how you're feeling. Again, everything is welcome. There's no right or wrong way to be in this moment. Let's work our way through a body scan. And as each part of the body is named, actually feel the sensations there. And then allow that part of the body to soften any amount more. Really let the support beneath you hold you. Let's start at the feet. Coming up through the ankles, lower legs, knees, upper legs and hips. Making any adjustments to the lower part of the body that might add to your ease and comfort. And then let this bottom part of the body be soft and heavy, and settle into stillness. Coming up through the middle part of the body, the belly, chest, front of the shoulders, lower back, middle back, upper back, tops of the shoulders, upper arms, elbows, lower arms, wrists and hands. Making any adjustments to the middle part of the body to add to your ease and comfort. And then let the middle part of the body be soft and heavy and settle into stillness. Coming up to the neck, jaw, cheeks, eyes, ears, back of the head, forehead, and top of the head. Making any adjustments to the head and neck to add to your ease and comfort. And then let this part of the body be soft and heavy and settle into stillness. And you can rest here for the next few minutes. And I'll bring you out with 3 sounds of the bell. As you feel ready, you can start to bring some small movements back into the body. Maybe starting first out at the fingers and toes, rolling the wrists and ankles, and eventually working towards some larger movements. Just waking the body up in any way that feels good. Taking your time, eventually making your way to one side, taking a few breaths on your side before eventually pressing your way back up to seated. You can open the eyes or lift the gaze. If you want to join me to close, you can place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. This closing is from my teacher, Anna Jelly of Curvy Yoga. May I greet my body with gentleness. May I soften when life invites me to harden. May I listen to my intuition with wisdom and trust it with ease. And may I appreciate my body a little more in this moment, just as it is. And then we'll bring the hands together in front of the heart. Let's take one breath together. We'll inhale and exhale. Thank you so much for choosing to share your time and your practice with me today.